Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to a new cycle of global television coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that global television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now the news in full. The Supreme Court has affirmed the constitutional power of the president to declare a state of emergency in any state to prevent a breakdown of law and order or a descent into chaos and anarchy. Delivering the lead majority judgment, Justice Mohammed Idris held that Section 305 of the 1999 Constitution empowers the president to adopt extraordinary measures to restore normalcy where a state of emergency has been declared. In a split decision of 6-1, the Apex Court upheld the president's authority under the Constitution to proclaim a state of emergency, stating further that during such a period, the president may suspend elect officials, provided any such suspension is for a limited duration. President Bola Tinubu has rallied West African leaders to close ranks against fresh shocks to democracy, citing the recent coup attempt in Benin Republic and renewed instability in Guinea-Bissau, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima. The president made the call in his opening address at the 68th Ordinary Session of the ECOWAS Heads of State and Government at the State House, Abuja. This came as Chabi Yayi, son of former Beninese president and current opposition figure Thomas Yayi, was arrested early Sunday at his home. President Bola Tinubu has mourned the death of Bayelsa State Deputy Governor Lawrence, who died on Thursday after collapsing in his office. Tinubu also sympathized with the government and the people of the state. His condolence message was contained in a statement by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga. The president extended heartfelt condolences to the governor of the state, Doye Diri, and the wife of Deputy Governor Barrister Beatrice Ekwejakbo, his children, and the friends and associates who worked closely with the diligent public servant. Over now to Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Wadi Shaibu says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the establishment of Nigerian Army Depot in Abakaliki, Ebonyi State. After one at Osogbo in Osun State, General Shaibu said the establishment will boost the statistics of combat recruits for deployment and will come on stream soon. He added that when the Army Depot is ready, it will complement the strategic plan of a surge in the numbers of well-trained troops available for deployment to all parts of the country. Still on the news, Senator representing Borno South Ali Ndume has faulted the composition of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's ambassadorial nominees, describing the list as lopsided in breach of the formal character principle. Ndume, who expressed his reservations at a press conference in Abuja, said the Senate will formally convey its observations to the president. The Borno federal lawmaker also explained why he ultimately joined his colleagues on the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs to screen the nominees, despite early urging President Tinubu to withdraw the list over concerns of imbalance. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has commenced online accreditation for journalists and media organizations that intend to cover the 2026 Federal Capital Territory Area Council election scheduled for Saturday, February 21st, 2026. A notice released by the Commission noted that the accreditation exercise is open to interested media organizations seeking to deploy journalists for election coverage. INEC stated that applications must be submitted through its official media accreditation portal. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission in Osun State says it is not aware of another primary by the Accord Party in the state. The faction of Accord Party in Osun had reportedly held a primary election which produced Bamigbola Clement as its candidate in the August 8, 2026 governorship poll. Now, the first primary comes days after an earlier one last Wednesday, which produced Governor Ademola Adeleke as Accord Party's governorship candidate for next year's election. Now, still on politics, the internal crisis rocking the Labour Party has taken a new turn as the Deputy National Youth Leader of the party, Dr. Barry Johnson, has accused the party's 2023 presidential election, Peter Obi, and Abia State Governor Alex Otti, of allegedly sponsoring actions capable of deepening diversions within the party. Dr. Johnson made the allegation while appearing on our flagship program, Big Talk. Political correspondent Obong Usoro tells us more.
The Labour Party continues to grapple with internal disagreements as fresh allegations emerge from within the leadership amid the ongoing tussle involving Senator Nana D. Usman and the party's national chairman, Julius Abure. Appearing on Big Talk, the Deputy National Youth Leader, Dr. Barry Johnson, alleged that the party's former presidential candidate, Peter Obi, alongside Abia State Governor Alex Oti, are backing activities that will further deepen divisions within the party. According to him, the alleged interference has created leadership confusion and slowed the party's efforts at consolidation ahead of future elections.
Just like how Nigerians came up to support Peter Obi without checking who he was.
Oh, you didn't check who Peter Obi was?
What time did we have to check who Peter Obi is? Now we know who he is.
So who is Peter Obi?
I will not be able to tell you who he is now until all the political parties present their
Dr. Johnson further stated that despite the ongoing crisis, the Labour Party remains attractive to political actors, noting that several prominent politicians are already defecting to the party in anticipation of securing tickets for upcoming elections. He maintained that the party's youth leadership remains committed to restoring unity, strengthening internal democracy, and repositioning the party for future electoral success.
If Abure and the secretary, Umar Farouk, are weaklings, by now they could have been thrown out of the Labour Party. Do you know what it means to fight dirty politics with a serving governor? Do you know who a governor is in Nigeria? He has access to billions that can be thrown to the air to get you dealt with. But we dealt with them even in the courts. And we have shown them that building an institution is better than building an individual.
Political observers say the unfolding developments could significantly shape the party's fortune as the 2027 general elections draw closer. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
Borno State government has postponed the presentation of its 2026 budget earlier scheduled for Monday, December 15th, before the State House of Assembly. The postponement was announced in a statement issued by the Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Professor Usman Tar. The government said a new date for the presentation of the 2026 appropriation bill would be communicated at a later time. Katsina State Directorate of the National Orientation Agency has launched a security awareness campaign across border communities in the state. The State Director of the agency, Muntari Lawal, disclosed this at the launch of the campaign in Jibia local government area of the state. He said the initiative aims to educate residents on cross-border crime and mobilize them to complement government efforts to curb insecurity. You are watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. When News Cycle returns, National Bureau of Statistics says Nigeria's inflation eased to 14.45% in November. Details coming shortly, plus foreign sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Cycle on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, latest consumer price index report released by the National Bureau of Statistics indicates the Nigerian's headline inflation rate eased further in November 2026 as consumer price pressures moderated under the new base year. National Bureau of Statistics said the consumer price index rose to 130.5 points in November 2025 from 128.9 points in October, reflecting a 1.6 point increase month on month, but the headline inflation rate declined to 14.45% year on year compared with 16.05% recorded in October 2025. On a month-on-month basis, headline inflation stood at 1.22% in November, higher than 0.93% recorded in October, indicating that average prices still increased at a faster pace during the month despite the moderation in annual inflation. The federal government has commenced a phased development of gazing reserves across the country. beginning with 3 pilot locations in Gombe, Plateau, and the Federal Capital Territory, as part of a broader interministerial effort involving state government and the private sector. Speaking on the initiative, the head of press and public relations, Federal Ministry of Livestock Development, Ogenekewe Ugechukwu, said the approach was deliberate given the scale of project nationwide. Uchechukwu noted that work had already begun in 3 pilot locations with collaboration extending beyond the federal level. Barring any last-minute change, MRS and other partners of the Dangote Petroleum Refinery are set to begin selling petrol at 739 naira per liter. This comes 2 days after the refinery slashed its petrol Grand Tree price from 828 naira to 699 naira per liter. Speaking at a press briefing at the Lekki refinery, the president of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, said he was aware that despite lower gantry prices, some fueling stations often choose to keep pump prices high, thereby sabotaging his efforts. France has urged the European Union to postpone a vote on a trade deal with the South American bloc Mercosur, saying conditions are not yet in place for an agreement. In a statement from Prime Minister Sebastian Lecornu's office, Paris said that European Union member states cannot vote on the trade agreement in its current state. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen is due to visit Brazil to finalize the landmark trade pact, which the 27-member union has been negotiating with the Mercosur trade bloc for more than 20 years. Over now to the foreign scene, United States Congressman Riley Moore says his country and Nigeria are nearing a significant milestone in the fight against terrorism in Nigeria, with an agreement on strategic security framework being finalized. In a post on X, Moore said the postponed framework would focus on combating extremist groups operating in the northeast and middle belt regions of the country and ending the genocide against Christians. His comment followed the fact-finding mission to Nigeria, where he witnessed firsthand the devastating impact of violent extremism on the civilian population in Benue and Plateau states. Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has reaffirmed its commitment to this after the 68th ordinary session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government at the State House in Abuja. The sub-region, which announced the plan to impose sanctions on coup makers, decried the coup in Guinea-Bissau. West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS has threatened targeted sanctions on anyone obstructing Guinea-Bissau's return to civilian rule following last month's coup. The announcement came as presidents from across the region met in Nigeria from a biannual meeting whose agenda was dominated by 2 recent coup attempts, a successful military takeover in Guinea-Bissau and a failed coup in Benin. Over now to Zara Nasseru for more details.
ECOWAS Commission President Umaru Aliyu Toure told reporters at the end of the summit held in the Nigerian capital Abuja that authorities shall enforce targeted sanctions on individuals or group of persons that obstruct the transition process. Toure also said that the ECOWAS peacekeeping force deployed in Guinea-Bissau, a small coup-prone West African country, since 2022, was authorized to provide protection to all political leaders and national institutions.
Sanctions are on the table, and it will be applied on any institution or any person found to be contributing found to be working against efforts to return the country to constitutional order.
The twin disruptions of civilian rule last month in Guinea-Bissau and a week ago in Benin have rattled the ECOWAS, which condemned both at the summit. The failed insurrection in Benin saw Nigeria deploy fighter jets and troops alongside soldiers from the Ivory Coast to shore up the civilian government. ECOWAS has said more soldiers are on their way from Ghana and Sierra Leone. Zahra Nasser reporting for Global TV News.
Election campaigning has officially begun in the Central African Republic ahead of the presidential vote scheduled for December 28th. Cuban President Faustin Archange Touadéry launched his campaign at Bangu's Unisports Stadium, where he addressed thousands of supporters returning from the town of Sibut, where he had earlier kicked off his re-election bid. Touadéry was greeted by an enthusiastic crowd. The Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has called a shooting at Sydney's Bondi Beach an act of evil anti-Semitism and terrorism. Over now to Edikan Michael as he tells us more.
The Prime Minister Anthony Albanese convened a meeting of National Security Committees as a matter of urgency after 12 people were confirmed dead, including one gunman, in a mass shooting at the Jewish celebration at Bondi Beach. Albanese described the shooting as a targeted attack on the Jewish community during the first day of the Hanukkah. Anthony Albanese calls the scenes after the deadly shooting at Cindy says it's both shocking and distressing.
This is a targeted attack on Jewish Australians on the first day of Hanukkah, which should be a day of joy, a celebration of faith. An act of evil anti-Semitism, terrorism that has struck the heart of our nation. An attack on Jewish Australians is an attack on every Australian, and every Australian tonight will be, like me, devastated on this attack on our way of life. Our police and security agencies are working to determine anyone associated with this outrage. Our agencies will provide you with factual updates as quickly as possible as they continue to emerge. We have seen Australians today run towards danger in order to help others. These Australians are heroes and their bravery has saved lives. As Prime Minister, I say on behalf of all Australians to the Jewish community, we stand with you, we embrace you, and we reaffirm tonight that you have every right to be proud of who you are and what you believe. You have the right to worship and study and live and work in peace and safety. And you enrich us as a nation. You should never have to endure the loss that you have suffered today. You should never know the fear that you know tonight. We will dedicate every resource required to making sure you are safe and protected. You are Australian and all Australians are with you today and every day.
World leaders have also reacted, from French President Emmanuel Macron condemning the shooting as an anti-Semitic attack and vowed to continue fighting against the anti-Semitic hatred. Italian Premier Giorgia Meloni offered condolences and called for firm resolve against any form of violence and anti-Semitism. Israel President Isaac Herzog was among the first to comment publicly, saying that his heart goes out to Jewish sisters and brothers in Sindhi who have been attacked by the vile terrorists as they want to light the first candle of Hanukkah. Prior to this sad incident, a Hanukkah celebration is one of the most important events in the Jewish calendar, which was taking place at the famed beach where around 1,000 people showed up to participate. Edikan Michael reporting for Global TV News.
Very unfortunate incident there. Meanwhile, Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has proposed tougher gun laws following a mass shooting at Sydney's Bondi Beach that left 15 people dead during a Jewish festival. Over now to Mukhtar Kasim reports.
The attack occurred on Sunday evening as the crowd gathered to those measures included a nationwide gun buyback. Those measures included a nationwide gun buyback, a national firearm register, and tighter restriction on semi-automatic weapons. Albanese says the Bondi tragedy has reignited debate on whether Australia's gun laws now need to be strengthened further. Mukhtar Kasim, reporting for Global Television News. Mukhtar Kasim, reporting for Global Television News.
In sports news, now the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has launched the ultimate guide to Total Energies CAF African Cup of Nations Morocco 2025, giving fans and stakeholders an in-depth look ahead of the continent's biggest football celebration. The guide provides comprehensive details about the tournament, including match schedules, host cities, stadiums, team profiles, and key players to watch. It also offers insight into CAF's initiatives to enhance fan experience, security protocols, and ticketing information, ensuring a seamless and enjoyable event for spectators. Nigeria has won the gold medal in the women's beach volleyball event at the African Youth Games in Angola after commanding straight-set victory over Egypt. President of the Nigerian Volleyball Federation, Musa Nimrod, praised the players for their display and said the victory carried added significance following Nigeria's absence from 2 recent World Championships in Qatar and Australia. Nimrod said the result reflected the country's rising status on the continental stage. And that's it on News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @GlobalTVNG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good evening.